What's going on, everybody? My name is Monatui, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our PPL Season 4 Week 7 team builder versus none other than NecroStevo, coach of the Eterna City Enders. If you've not done so already, please check out his channel in the description below. He's been on YouTube a very long time. He has definitely proven to be a very formidable opponent for this season. We have a very difficult task in taking him on, not just because he has been playing very well, but his team is quite good, and we are going to be getting into that now. So his team, or his roster rather, consists of Garchomp, Mega Blastoise, Gardevoir, Ferrothorn, Weavile, Magneton, Rhyperior, Primeape, Volcarona, and Golbat. So that is... I feel like he definitely has the matchup this game. That doesn't mean I'm going to give up. I'm definitely going to build the best team that I possibly can, because I think with my team, if I'm creative enough and I'm knowledgeable enough in what I build, I think I can take on anybody else's team. At least that's the attitude I like to have. But I feel like his team just kind of shits, like, all over mine, to be honest. Like, I'm just going to go down the list of things that I don't have good switch-ins to. Mega Blastoise, don't have good switch-ins to. Gardevoir, have pretty much no switch-ins to. The only thing not 2-KO'd by its dual stabs is Fortress. And then, obviously, it's weak to Hidden Power Fire and doesn't want to switch into Moonblast anyway. Weavile, I have only Fortress for, and then it just kind of shits on my team. Magneton, its dual stab literally 2-KOs my entire team. And then Volcarona, if it gets up a Quiver Dance, it just straight up sweeps me. I'm pretty sure I don't have a switch into Rhyperior either. His team is very, very offensively threatening to me, and I just can't play defensively against his team because it's really, really solid versus mine. But without further ado, let's get into our team of 6. Like I said, I'm not going to be building this defensively, but I do have a plan in order to beat Necro. It's not a foolproof plan. It could definitely go wrong, but I'm definitely thinking I built the best team of 6 that I could. I spent a very long time building this team because, like I said, the matchup just doesn't really seem in my favor at first glance, but I took a while to figure this stuff out, and here we are. So, starting off, we have a Yachi Berry Thundurus, Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, HP Ice, and Incinerate. I'm running Prankster over Defiant because, as a couple people, particularly Kyle, mentioned to me, as soon as my opponent sees Defiant, they're going to know that I don't have T-Wave. So I kind of want to keep that in the back in case he possibly gets off like a Defog with Golbat or something like that, or he intimidates me with his 0 Intimidate users. In case like I get a Defiant boost from Defog or something like that, I want him to see that I don't get the Defiant boost, because he'll see that I'm Prankster, he'll be fearing the Thunder Wave, which is going to be really, really nice. The Defiant bluff not necessarily worked, but it was nice for earlier on in the season, but I've done that so many times, my opponent's going to start to pick up on that, and I'm going to stray away from that for a little bit. But Thundurus is one of the biggest threats to his team, as it tends to be. Thunderbolt, Grass Knot, HP Ice, and Incinerate. The only thing I cannot 2-KO or OHKO, or the only things, rather, are Volcarona and Gardevoir. Gardevoir does not have reliable recovery, and I can spam Thunderbolt versus that thing, and Volcarona will still take about 50%, a little bit less because it does have good natural Spadef, but it's not necessarily a switch-in, which is very, very nice. Grass Knot, straight up OHKO's Rhyperior. It does a lot of damage to Blastoise as well, so it's a good middle play between those two. HP Ice knocks out the Garchomp, depending on its EV spread. If it has a lot of HP, it can live in HP Ice, but I can live any hit from it, bar like Life Orb Outrage or something like that, or Life Orb Stone Edge, which is really, really nice. And yeah, there's just a huge threat versus his team. Like I said, threatens the Mega Blastoise, which is a big problem to my team. Incinerate hits the Fortress, as well as the Magneton, as well as the Weavile. I wanted Focus Blast originally because it just hit all of them with either the same amount of damage or harder, but Focus Blast misses and Incinerate works, so I didn't bother changing it. So yeah, that's our Thundurus. Super threatening for his team, as it tends to be. Outspeeds everything bar the Weavile. The Yachi Berry is there because, like I said earlier, Weavile is such a big threat to my team, and I want to be able to take an Ice Shard from that and possibly get a surprise kill. If it is Life Orb, I will be able to knock it out with the combination of Rocks plus Life Orb plus a Thunderbolt hit. So yeah, that's that. That's our Thundurus. Not too much else to go over. Relatively standard, bar maybe like the Yachi Berry. So yeah, that's Thundurus. Next up, this is another mon that I changed around a lot, and I decided that this is the set I want to have. We're running an Air Balloon, Stealth Rocking, Swords Dance, Dual Stab, Terrakion, with a lot of speed. Also, the speed on this, I forget if I mentioned, this is enough for... What is this for? Garchomp. This is enough speed for Jolly Garchomp. Same thing with this, enough speed for Jolly Garchomp. So, running Close Combat Stone Edge, that's really all I need for his team. It hits everything either neutrally or super effectively. And again, that's just like all I need. I don't need X Scissor, don't need Poison Jab, just Dual Stab. And then Swords Dance. Swords Dance is nice because his team's not slow, but I outspeed everything on his team that is not Scarfed, bar the Weavile. So once Weavile is gone, or once I see it doesn't have low kick, even though I'm pretty sure he's going to have low kick, I will be able to click Swords Dance and then possibly knock out the remainder of his team. I need a little bit of damage on Mega Blastoise, need a little bit of damage on Garchomp, and then we are good to go to possibly sweep through the entirety of his team at +2. Also, obviously, I have to make sure he doesn't have like a Scarf Gardevoir, or like a Scarf Primeape or something like that, but that'll be relatively easy to do. I also have another thing that I'll get into later on that can possibly support Terrakion positively, but we'll get to that when we get there. Air Balloon is because he has a decent amount of Earthquake on his team, particularly the Garchomp as well as the Rhyperior, which are kind of problems to my team. Like, I don't have great Quake Edge switch-ins on this team, bar Fortress, and we'll get into that in a bit. And Terrakion just allows me a free switch into those things. Or, yeah, like I can get a switch into Garchomp, I can get a switch into Rhyperior. And the nice thing is, neither of them can hit me super hard without them. Like, even if Garchomp is banded, Terrakion can live in Outrage from it, set up a Swords Dance, knock him out with close combat. Rhyperior, unless it's running some sort of fighting coverage, which I don't expect it to do, I will be able to set up on very easily, which is nice because close combat does not knock out Rhyperior normally. So I'll be able to set up an SD and then knock it out with a +2 close combat. So the Air Balloon can come in very, very big handy. I also didn't need like extra damage output with like a Life Orb or something like that, unless his Garchomp ends up being like Tank Chomp and and like I'm unable to touch it. But yeah, we also have Stealth Rocks on this because I can also get up Stealth Rock versus things like Garchomp, which is really nice. I can at least sort of threaten Blastoise with a lot of damage, even though it can spin versus me. I will be able to get off a lot of damage, and this is a Stealth Rocker that beats his Defogger in Golbat. So, very good Stealth Rocker for his team, and I had the extra move slot. Terrakion was very, very lenient this game. The only offensive moves I needed, like I said, are its Dual Stabs in Close Combat and Stone Edge. So, that is our Terrakion. I'm hoping this thing is going to put in a lot of work. It really hurts his team. It OHKOs or 2-KOs, all of it except for the Mega Blastoise and possibly the Garchomp, so I'm really looking forward to that. Next up, we're going to go to another threatening Mon versus his team, Yanmega. This is going to be a very offensive game. Like, I don't have a lot of switch-ins to his Mons. He's not going to have a ton of switch-ins to my Mons, so as you're going to see, this is a relatively hyper-offensive team that we're bringing here. But we're going to bring in our Yanmega here. Timid max speed to possibly speed tie with a Scarf Jolly Primeape at +1. Bug Buzz, Air Slash, Hidden Power Ground, and Protect. Protect, of course, to get that speed boost. I was debating between Hidden Power Ground and Hidden Power Fire, but I determined that Magneton was a much, much bigger threat to my team than Fortress was. I have a couple, than Ferrothorn. I have a couple things for Ferrothorn. I have literally nothing for Magneton. So, decided to go with Hidden Power Ground just to snag the OHKO on that. Once again, we're running a Yache Berry, even though I can take an Ice Shard from Weavile from full. This allows me to take an Ice Shard from Weavile after Stealth Rock, which could definitely come in clutch later on. I believe if he's banded, it's a roll, but if he's Life Orb, I am guaranteed to live after Stealth Rock, which is really, really nice. Because Weavile's a huge threat. To get a possible surprise kill onto that thing would be absolutely wonderful. So that's why we're running the Yache Berry. Yanmega did have like 4 move slots in this game. I wanted Giga Drain just so that I can hit the Rhyperior as well as the Mega Blastoise, but I had to settle on these 3 moves. They're what I determined fit best versus his team, especially compared to what I already had on the team and what I ended up having when I finished building this team. So I decided Bug Buzz is just nice general stab. Hits pretty much everything neutrally, bar like the Golbat, the Volcarona, and the Magneton, but I do have coverage for the Magneton and the Volcarona. Air Slash is a 2-KO on Volcarona, even if he's Cobo Berry, and I have the chance to flinch. Hidden Power Ground, of course, for the Magneton, which is really nice. Bug Buzz hits the Rhyperior very hard as well, even though I don't have Giga Drain to hit it, unfortunately. And Bug Buzz just hits the Mega Blastoise and Gardevoir pretty hard as well. Same thing with the Ferrothorn. I'm not modest, and I don't have the Life Orb, so I won't be hitting things as hard as I want to. But this is still the best I could do as far as coverage is concerned. And once I whittle his team down enough, which I think I can do, Yanmega does definitely have the chance to sweep. Like, once I get Rocks up, I kill Volcarona with Air Slash, I kill Primeape with Air Slash, I kill Magneton with HP Ground, I kill Weavile, I kill weaken Garchomp, weaken Blastoise, weaken Gardevoir, weaken Ferrothorn, things like that. So this is this is the set of Yanmega that I decided to bring. I'm hoping it's going to put in a lot of work. It can definitely sweep late game. Like I said, if he thinks he can kill me with Weavile after rocks, he cannot because of the Yachi Berry, which is just a nice little insurance thing that I got going on. I'm hoping that'll work out for me. But yeah, that's our Yanmega. Like I said, looking to sweep late game. Of course, I do have to get rid of Golbat before I can do a lot of damage to his team, but when you have things like Thundurus and Terrakion on your team, as well as Mew and Piloswine, I think that'll be relatively easy to do. So with that being said, we are now moving on to the next member of our team, and this is a mon I knew I kind of wanted to bring, but then I built a team, and like it wasn't on that team, and then like this set probably like doesn't make sense at first, but we're bringing it anyway. Custap Lead Fortress. Now, the reason I say this doesn't make sense is because A, he has Magneton to trap me, and B, he has really good hazard removal in Mega Blastoise and Golbat, especially Mega Blastoise. Like, if I were to bring Jellicent, he could just Dark Pulse me twice and kill me, and I can't do a lot of damage to it. So, we're bringing a Custap Fortress, Earthquake, Explosion, Stealth Rock, and T-Spikes. Wanted to fit Spikes on here as well, but I couldn't really afford it, because if I'm just running Explosion, then Magneton can kind of just do its thing to me. I really don't think I'm going to find the time to get up all 3 hazards. I had to pick 2, and I think Toxic Spikes are more important than Spikes, and Rocks is super important, because he has things like Volcarona and Weavile, both Golbat on his team, that I want the Rocks damage for, but T-Spikes is super nice anyway, because if Blastoise switches in to try and spin, they're getting poisoned. Anything that isn't obviously in the air or a steel type or a poison type, they're getting hit by T-Spikes. He also doesn't have a poison type, so he can't have anything to absorb them. We are running Max Speed, Max Attack Adamant just to give Explosion the most power it possibly can, and we have Earthquake. If possible, I would like to snag a surprise kill on Magneton, because suppose he's trapped me with his Magneton, he can go for an offensive Thunderbolt, he'll put me in Custap range, and then I can knock him out with the Earthquake. I originally had Rock Slide on this thing as well to hit the Volcarona, but I decided that Explosion is going to hit that thing hard enough anyway, even though Rock Slide would be kind of nice. Explosion does almost the same amount of damage, and I will be able to get a ton of damage off onto that, put it in range of some other things, which is really, really nice. Plus, it prevents his Blastoise from possibly spinning versus me. I'll be able to explode with the Custap Berry, he won't spin, and we'll be good. So, I don't expect hazards to stay up on his side of the field. Like I said, he has really good hazard removal, particularly the Blastoise. But if I can get a turn forcing him to spin, and I get like a free turn of momentum, that'll be so totally worth it, because this, like I said, I think this is going to be a very fast-paced game, a very offensive game. If I can pull ahead by just one turn, that may be all I need in order to pull this game through. So, this is the set we're going with. I could have gone with Zero Split FIVs, but I decided to not do that for no particular reason. Like, as long as Magneton is some sort of offensive variant, I should be going down to Custap range anyway. And I didn't want to go, like, no HP, no defense either, because if I need to, this thing can switch into Weavile. I don't necessarily want it to, but it can set up hazards versus that. But regardless, this thing's biggest job, get up a couple hazards, get some damage off with Explosion, possibly get a surprise kill on the Magneton, and yeah, that's Fortress's job. Has a very important one. Hopefully it'll be able to pull it off. But now we're going to move on to 2 very important parts of this team. This is actually what I built the team around. These 2 mons here, Mew and Piloswine. Starting off with our Mew. Rock Slide, Rock Polish, Swords Dance, Baton Pass. Fully physically defensive. The reason we're fully physically defensive is because I can take 1 Banded knockoff from Weavile, or I can take a Life Orb knockoff plus Life Orb Ice Shard afterwards, and then Baton Pass out. Our only move is Rock Slide. That's because I want to be able to hit the Volcarona. It also hits the Weavile kind of nicely. Rock is just good for his team in general. The things that it resists, or that resist Rock, I can set up against and Baton Pass to other things. I can Baton Pass, like, Speed to Terrakion. And then if it's in versus something like Garchomp, I can set up a Swords Dance on that thing, possibly sweep through his team. I can Baton Pass the special attack boost from the weakness policy, possibly to Yanmega. I also live, like, any super effective hit from his team. I live Dark Pulse from Blastoise, I live Shadow Ball from Gardevoir, I live Knockoff from Ferrothorn, Knockoff from Weavile, Mega Horn from Rhyperior, U-Turn from Primeape, Bug Buzz from Volcarona. All of those things I live, and I will hopefully be able to Baton Pass those stats out into some of the things that I just mentioned, or the big win condition of this team, Pilot Line. So, you look at his roster, and you look at these 4 moves, and then you look at +2 speed, you look at +2 attack, and it's super scary for him. Like, he does not have anything for that at that point. Let's just go through his roster real quick. Icicle Spear at +2, knocks him out. Even if he's Yachi Berry, it'll be able to knock him out. If he's Scarf, he'll outspeed me, but I can kill him with Ice Shard at that point. Mega Blastoise is the only thing... Well, no, he has 2 things. Mega Blastoise and Ferrothorn are the only 2 things that I cannot OHKO. Mega Blastoise, I need to knock down to about 60%, 50 to 60%, and then Ferrothorn, I need to knock down to about 50, 55%. But even then, surprisingly enough, he can't kill me with anything from full. Like, even a Gyro Ball at +2 won't be able to kill Pilot Slime because Pilot Slime's super bulky with the Eviolite. Even though I am speedy, I'll be at +2 speed, Gyro Ball still shouldn't be able to kill me. Weavile dies to +2 Earthquake. Magneton dies to Earthquake. Rhyperior may die to +2 Earthquake. I haven't calced that yet, but there's nothing he can OHKO me with even if he is banded. If he is banded, he's probably not taking this hit anyway. Primate dies to +2 Earthquake. If I weaken it a little bit, it'll die to +2 Ice Shard, so I don't have to risk him being Scarfed. Volcarona dies to +2 Rock Slide, always. And Golbat dies to +2 Icicle Spear, always. So, if I'm able to successfully Baton Pass the Weakness Policy plus the Rock Polish to this thing, it's almost game over. Like, there's very few ways in which I could screw that up if I'm able to do that. Also, even without the speed, like, Pilot Slime's just super threatening to his team offensively. Like, there's really not a lot he has to switch into Ground plus Rock plus Ice at all. So, I'm really hoping that I'll be able to do that. It'd also just be really cool to see, like, a Pilot Slime sweep through somebody. That hasn't happened too often, but... yeah, that's the game plan. Even if I'm not able to pull off the Baton Pass sweep, I do have a lot of other offensive threats on this team. I have the Hazard Stack options, even though he does have the Mega Blastoise to spin. But I'm really hoping for this Baton Pass sweep. If not, oh well. But that is the team. I put a lot of thought into this team. A lot of thought into this team because I felt like I needed it. This Necros team is just way too good to take lightly. And I feel like this team of 6 will be good enough, if I play it right, to beat him. So thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you're looking forward to the match that should be going up tomorrow. I apologize that this game is so late, but regardless, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the match.